Hello and welcome to Alabama Film Community Live, and I'm Alan Rhodes along with Kayla Corinne Thompson. I want to keep saying that right. You know, every time I look at you, I want to say Kayla, but it's Kayla Corinne Thompson is who we have with us tonight on Alabama Film Community TV. Now, Kayla is a student at Jacksonville State University in the communication department.
Yes.
And you're going to graduate in May, right?
Yes, May 4th.
So your desire is to do what?
To be a news reporter.
So as a news reporter, you've had all the experience that you need to go out there and make it in the world, right?
I think so. I always tell everybody, if you just give me an opportunity, just let me stick my foot halfway in the door and I'm just come in with the rest of it. Just like, I just need an opportunity.
Well, tonight we're going to get a chance to see how you've been creating your own opportunity. And I really think you've been doing a good job at it, but we'll get into that in just a minute. So what we'll do first is a little bit of housekeeping that we always do here at Alabama Film Community TV, which is filmed and broadcast live right out of Jacksonville State University Studio B at Longleaf Studios. So I want to tell you all again about the film camp.
Yes.
Film camp is coming up this summer again, June the 25th through the 29th. It's $400 per person. You get to stay in the dormitory. You're going to be here at 8 o'clock every morning and go to UCant in the evening, and there'll be anywhere from 12 to 20 students involved in film camp this year, but it includes meals and snacks and dorm time, transportation, and it's a lot of fun. And we've been doing this now for 5 or 6 years, and I think we've got it down to where it's a really good camp. But this year, we've got a brand new camp that's going to start the week before. Yeah, that's called the Acting Day Camp. Yeah, get you one of those.
See, I was trying to do it smoothly.
So what will happen on the Acting Day Camp is you get to come during the day. You don't stay overnight in the dormitories. It's only $250 per student, but we have an acting coach who's going to come in and they'll work on the script that will be produced the following week during film camp, which is also a technology camp. So we'll have actors who will know the script this time, who will come in and make it a little bit easier on the film camp. And if you're in the acting camp, you're going to also get experience with the cameras and the lights and everything as well. It's not just acting when you come to technology camp, but you'll be able to have your opportunity during the day camp to learn acting. And oh, by the way, if you attend both, there is a big discount. So it's $400 for the film camp, $250 for the acting camp, but $500 for both. So we'd like for you to come to Jacksonville State University's acting camp and the film camp this summer, June the 18th through the 22nd, and then June the 25th through the 29th, yes. One day before
my birthday, the greatest day in the world.
And the film camp starts one day after my birthday. So it's in between.
The second greatest day in the world. Yeah.
Also, this Saturday, coming up here at Longleaf Studios, we are going to have the casting call for On Places Thin with Wendy Robinson. Wendy has been here on this show. I think she was episode 5. This is episode 8. But if you'd like to know more about that, you can go to her website at onplacesthinthemovie at gmail.com. I guess you can see that.
Maybe.
But On Places Thin is a movie that's written by Wendy Robinson. And if you go and we've played the preview that she's already shot on there, but she's looking for key players to be acting. And then, of course, people can come here to be a part of her crew. And that's going on here at Longleaf Studios this weekend, the 14th. So we're excited about that and having everybody show up for acting and film camp and all the other things that are going on here at Longleaf. Excuse me. So as you know, we've had a EF3 tornado came through Jacksonville on the 19th of March.
Yes.
Kayla, where were you when the tornado came through?
Well, on the actual day, on that Monday, I was coming back in from North Carolina because I went for a journalism convention. And I got here, my mom was like, hey, you know, go ahead and get yourself ready because I'm coming to get you. So she came to get me. And as soon as I touched down in my house in Mississippi, my friend called me like, hey, are you okay? Are you safe? And I'm like, yeah, I'm at home. Like, you know, I'm fine. And she was like, you're at home, like, where? Like, at Campus in Mississippi. So I'm in Mississippi. And they were like, well, we have a tornado going on. And I'm like, okay. Because, you know, you don't think, like, oh, tornado, like, it's serious. Because oftentimes we are driving around in the city doing whatever. Like, oh, tornado, warning. Okay. But this time it was really something that everybody had to take notice to. And when she said we're in a tornado, the next thing she said was, I need to find a place for my mom. I got to go. And that was the end of the conversation.
And then you didn't know anything much after that for a while.
So I kind of waited, you know, about 30 minutes, and she contacted me again, like, it's really bad. That's all she said was, it's really bad.
So an EF3 tornado comes through Jacksonville. You are in Mississippi, but you live here. What did you think what was going on with your stuff? I mean, you had an apartment, right?
Yes. So at first, you know, this is going to sound terrible. Forgive me. But at first I was like, okay, are people really hurt? Is something really going on? Because a lot of times, you know, we often...
It's surreal.
Yeah, but we also are the generation of overdo it. So, oh my God, my leg is broke. But really it's just like kind of hurt. You got a little pain or something. So I was thinking, okay, you know, they're saying it's bad, but it may not be as bad. So I was calling everybody. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? So they told me one of my teammates, like, she had no car. I'm like, how does she have no car? It was in the parking spot. And it was like, no, the tornado picked it up and took it home. So I'm like, okay. So at that point, right, at that point, I'm like, okay, this is serious. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, is everyone okay that I know is there? Then I said, okay, is my apartment okay?
Right.
And then I said, oh, Lord, my baby, my car. Is my car okay? And everybody was like, you'll be fine. Nobody said anything about it. It took me a week to get pictures of my car. And I'm telling you, I was about to cry every single day. Then they sent me a picture, and she was all right. But, of course, that's nothing compared to other people's losses.
Property.
Yeah,
right.
Losses. But I was just like, oh, God, like, what is really going on?
Well, we were real fortunate that Jacksonville was on spring break.
Right.
There's a lot of stories like yours where students were off at the beach and home and various, looking for jobs even for the summer, and to find out that they don't have a place to come back to here, and that their stuff was blown away, taken away, their dormitory they couldn't get into, and all that. So that brings up the thing that you've done recently, which is you went out and took a little bit of an opportunity and created a couple of news stories of your own, since you're that coming up reporter.
Yeah.
And that's one reason we wanted to have her on tonight, is that she has gone out and created 4 news stories over the last few weeks that she posted on Facebook and YouTube. And I thought a very good format. So let's do Lauren's first, right?
Okay.
Okay. So why don't you introduce Lauren's story? How did that come about?
Well, I did know that I had a teammate and a friend in an apartment.
An athlete here
yes,
at Jackson State.
Yes, she's a student athlete, and her apartment complex was destroyed, but her apartment was the only one standing. So I said, I have to talk to her about, like, because she's always a good sport for me. Anything, you know, I ask her to do, she'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And, you know, with me trying to further myself in news reporting, they were like, I need you to do more stories about the tornado, like, see if you can, what angles you could take. So I was like, okay, well, I know her, and
Now, this was not a class project.
No, I just kind of do it on my own.
Right,
yeah.
That's great.
And so I decided, okay, well, I did one package while I wasn't here. Let me see what I can do while I am here. And when we went to go shoot that, and just to see her apartment, just the look on her face was kind of like, I can't believe, you know, that this really happened.
Right.
And so I knew that she would be, you know, okay with being vulnerable and telling me about what happened.
Well, let's look at her story.
Right.
And so, Brenna, you saw the click. Would you play the story of Lauren?
Tornado sirens go off, and we were like, oh my God, this is real. Like, this is really happening.
Jacksonville State junior and track and field sprinter Lauren Moore was in Jacksonville the night the EF3 tornado hit, and said she couldn't believe what she saw.
Trees had fell. The pool was gone. There was chairs, fences turned over, trees just, I mean, everywhere, debris everywhere, power lines ripped out of buildings, windows shattered, people's cars had crashed and combined to each other. It was scary.
Like hundreds of other students, Lauren was displaced and on an immediate search for new housing.
I drove back to my apartment that same night after the tornado was over. It was very, I was distraught because I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to live here anymore.
This was Lauren's apartment. And as you can see, she was one of the lucky ones.
After searching for weeks, she was finally able to find a home.
I've already found somewhere else to be, so I'm very thankful for that because I have to complete summer classes. So I'm going to be living by myself again, but it was very difficult to find anywhere.
Lauren says that during this time, JSU has been helpful to students and hopes everyone can find a home and a way to finish the semester.
All I have to say is keep searching, try to just finish out the semester. JSU's doing their best to help, work with us as students. They understand, and we just got to keep pushing forward somehow just so we can finish the semester and come back in fall and thrive.
For Jacksonville Action News, I'm Kayla Corinne.
Well, that's a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so I think any news agency out there ought to be thinking about, hiring you to come in and do that. So you did it on your own. It's posted on your Facebook, VMO, YouTube, whatever. And I just happened to see it because I, have subscribed to your channel, and I figured that'd be great to do. Well, we had a meeting here today, and one of the things we would like to do is to bring you in and let you be the director and produce a 30-minute show, and let's see if we can't get some more students to come in and tell their story, and let's put together about a 30-minute show on the tornado and how it has affected the students at Jacksonville State and how we're Jacksonville strong and going forward with this. But you've already got 3 other packages as well, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you've already been out there doing that, but you're interested in being the director on that?
You know what? I'm going to say this. Of course I am. But I really appreciate you for always bringing me in. You always make me, keep me on my toes.
It's all about the students.
You keep me on my toes. But I really do appreciate it, and I would love to.
Okay, so tonight, you're hearing it first right here on Alabama Film Community TV. Student at Jacksonville State, Kayla Thompson, is going to be producing at least a 30-minute documentary on the tornadoes. And hopefully we're going to pitch it to Alabama Public Television and some others and see if they'll take this and roll it as a package. But it's going to be all footage, new footage like you're shooting, and your stories of other students and how they were affected by it. Because I know some would have been, like I said, off on spring break, and yet they're still affected. They're affected because of student aid. They're affected because the housing that they're coming back to is not there. And the university is doing all that they can, but there are even issues on how you're going to get your grades. So students are going to tell their stories. Some are going to get to take the grade that they had. This is what I'm hearing.
That was a tough
Decision.
sell. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because JSU has really done a really great job with giving us opportunities and stuff. And I can say they're kind of making my senior year run a lot smoother because of this. But there's still stuff to it. Everybody's got a different path. Even if you took option 1, 2, or 3, if you took option 1, your path is so different from someone else because you thought you were going to take option 1, but financial aid said, no, you're not. Right. You're going to stay in class. So it's, like you said, there's a lot to go into these different stories, and people are, I don't know, there's people who still haven't found housing. They're still looking for things, and then some are saying, this housing is temporary. What do I do in the summer? So it's right. It's really sad too.
So there's still a lot going, but we're all pitching together and working together. And I think it'd be important to tell that story from a Jacksonville State standpoint and student standpoint. So if you're in for it, we're up to making that happen.
We have
all right. Yeah. So anyway, that's starting tonight. But you have another package that you've done. Which one would you like to show?
Let's do the actual tornado wrap-up. So
Brenda, it's called Tornado Wrap-Up. How's it?
Jacksonville Tornado.
Jacksonville Tornado would be the title on it.
Yes.
And is this the one where the subtitling is down there?
Yes, the subtitles. So, my friends hooked me up with some video, so I had to translate it for you.
Okay. So here we go. This is what was happening in Jacksonville by Kayla, as she is, again, doing some more packages for TV stations.
We are not about to walk in here. Ooh!
Spring break, a week to get away from school, responsibilities, and relax, turned into a week of sadness for students at Jacksonville State University. Monday night, a Category EF3 tornado hit Jacksonville, Alabama at winds of 135 miles per hour. The tornado damaged classrooms, local businesses, and much more.
The car flipped over. The roof is gone. Oh, man.
After the three-part tornado hit, several students in off-campus apartments were left with no place to stay and no car. The newly remodeled Pete Matthews Coliseum, where basketball games, events, and graduation were scheduled to be held, was greatly impacted. Graduating seniors are concerned about the conditions and if graduation will be moved because of flooding and roof damage. University President John Beeler spoke in a press conference today saying that the tornado is no match for the Gamecocks.
We will bounce back from the challenges that currently face us. Gamecocks are resilient and they are winners, and we will continue to be resilient and be winners as Gamecocks.
There are still lots of concerns before campus reopens on April 2nd, but the president and his team say they are working to get Jacksonville back as soon as possible. For Jacksonville Action News, I'm Kayla Corinne.
Wow, another good package, Kayla, that you did. And again, she's a student at Jacksonville State, and we're going to bring her in and let her do a documentary from a student standpoint on the tornadoes that hit Jacksonville State University and the Jacksonville community, who, by the way, has done an outstanding job of clearing the streets, and Alabama Power at getting power and utilities back on. And, you know, we were on Mountain Street, and there's a tree down across Mountain Street, 2 houses from us. We were 50 feet from the path of the tornado where we live. And I was out of the house within an hour and a half, able to come down Mountain Street. So somebody had come and cleared a pathway through. So Jacksonville, thank you for what you did. Alabama Power, thank you for what you've done. First responders, thank you for what you've done in helping Jacksonville and Jacksonville State recover from the tornado. We know that it's a long way to go, but we do want to tell our story. And so I'll tell you what, let's roll a little bit of B-roll. And Brent, I'm going to get you to come around so that Kayla and I can talk over this. But the night of the tornado, I got out. I didn't shoot any video that night, but the next morning, Adam and I went out and we shot about a 2-minute reel going through the Jacksonville community as we talked to some people to find out if our friends were okay. So we'll roll that, and we can kind of talk over a little bit of that as that's being seen. So this is the morning after footage that you'll have access to do our documentary with, that my son Adam and I shot the next morning following the tornadoes. And then we're going to come back and show footage we shot today.
Okay.
So,
now, I know you were a storm chaser, so I did wonder. I figured
yeah,
you had
well,
some footage.
I don't get out if I know it's coming towards Mama. When Mama's at home, we're going to be at home.
No, okay.
So if I know it's not coming our direction, then we do get out and chase and have done that for years. And we've got the radar and all the stuff to.
You better
to
stay inside.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
I'm not going to say
so
I did.
Brenda, if you would, come on around with your iPad. By the way, we're using there she is. We're using the Sling Studio to do this, and it's a 3-camera shoot tonight. And Brenda's our director, and she's switching and putting all the lower thirds up and running all the graphics and everything. But if you will, play that footage. We're going to talk over that now. Okay. So what we're seeing here is the morning after, and these are homes that are in the 10th Street area. We're on Mountain Avenue, 2 Rosebacks. You have 3rd, 4th, and 5th Avenue, then 5th, 6th Street, and that's up in that area in the North Jacksonville area. So if anybody's been in the area, you realize that there's all these large oak trees, pine trees, huge 50-foot pine trees in people's yards. Old oak trees that have been knocked over, and it is much worse than what you're seeing here when you really get out in the neighborhood. And as we move down towards 3rd Avenue and begin to come to Church Street and go up over the mountain, you'll see just how bad it was. But where there was clearly EF3 damage in some areas. But see all the large oak trees and pine trees that are now. And this area was just beautiful before the storm. And now, within hours, this is the next morning, you can see that we're already piling up trees on the side of the road and clearing the road so that you can go through, and first responders can get in and look at the stuff. There's a water main that's broken, and we know of at least one gas line that was broken that they had to come in and put water on to cut a tree out of the way in order to fix the gas line.
I will say people did get together and cut those trees down really quickly. I saw like that night, I think about an hour after the tornado was completely gone, like people were already out there with their chainsaws just looking it up. So Jacksonville really like did band together. It was
And we're
nice
checking on our friends and doing all of that. But that whole area is the North Jacksonville area above the university, and the road that we're looking down right there heads towards the university. I believe you'll be able to see First Baptist Church down this street, and right there would be the library. So that's kind of the area where we're at. But as it came through North Jacksonville, you can see houses with trees all over. And I remember I used to walk in this area every night, and just these huge, beautiful trees. When the wind would blow, it was just this beautiful place to walk and live in the community. Now it'll rebound, but probably not in my lifetime will I see these kind of trees again in Jacksonville, all up by the bridge. Again, the city has done such a great job of getting these big root balls picked up. Right now, you'll see in the other footage that we'll show a little bit later that some of them are on the side of the road, but they've got crews that are coming in and picking up these huge, I would guess they weigh thousands of pounds, trees and root balls and all that are up. You can see all the trees they're just gone. It used to be you could not see through there, but now, this is just,
I think the most fascinating thing is to see like the trees just like, you can see the root, like everything like completely taken out of the ground. Because before the tornado happened, we had that kind of slight storm that came through and knocked the tree down.
Yeah, 2 weeks before.
Yeah,
right.
and you were thinking, oh, that tree and then that apartment on the corner, but nobody could have ever expected, this
Right.
much damage.
Pretty amazing. So you live right in that area too?
Yeah.
Wow. So we're coming back, and Brianna lives in that area.
It's crazy how dense it used to be, and now you can see everything around you.
Right. It is crazy. But that's what happened here in Jacksonville. That was not the footage of the university. And I'm sure everybody's seen, because there's been a lot of footage posted on Facebook, YouTube, and the different TV stations have come in. We've had drones fly over, and you can get all that. One of the most interesting pieces of footage I saw the other night was the surveillance footage from all the cameras across campus, and the library footage where there's a car going down Pelham, right in the middle of it. It looks like a fireball coming across the street, which was the hot power lines. I don't know if you realize this, but when a power line goes down, it can stay charged for a while if that transformer is still alive. So that transformer is like a big battery.
The only Transformers I know are in the movies. All that. Yeah. That's the Transformer I know. So when you were saying that, I was like, wait a minute. If it's not connected to anything, I wouldn't think that it would set you. But it can electrocute you.
It will kill you. That's right. So when they say stay off the power lines, they mean it, because that transformer can carry a big charge, and you cross those lines, that transformer can kill you. So a lot of people don't realize that or know that. And that's why they say stay out, stay off the power lines, don't even drive on them. Of course, here I was driving on them, but
because you were a storm chaser.
Yeah, that's right.
You were a storm chaser.
So anyway, that was the day of the storm, and we had a large number of apartments that were also destroyed. Your friends' apartments, and the Dollar General was just gone.
I saw them.
We had only 3 major injuries that we heard about, during the whole thing, and we were very fortunate and blessed. And I think a story that you may want to tap into is Dr. Beeler, who was out of town at the time on break. He had to come rushing back, and his story about hearing that may be a good one to get. And then, of course, what he's doing with the university and all the things that have to come together is going to be a real story and testimony of how this community and the college has pitched together to come through this tragedy. And this just shows the human spirit of everybody here in this town and this area. Right. But we're excited about that. I am going to show, we've got a long clip now that we'll show that is what's going on right now in the northern part of Jacksonville, the same streets that were on a minute ago, and you'll see a lot of the cleanup that's taking place. And then we make a trek through the university. So, Brandon, if you'll go ahead and play that next footage. It is about 8 minutes long. We drove through there today. You can tell the difference in there's sunshine and blue skies.
Yeah.
Drive-through. Okay, that's fine. We made a drive-through this morning or this afternoon, and you can see the cable company is still out stringing new lines, and there's actually a guy up on that ladder. Excuse me. But there's still debris on the sides of the streets. Now, they, I believe, have gone through and cleared out one set of debris, and this is the next level of that that's coming out off the property, off the homes and the backyards. And while that doesn't seem so bad, we're just on the edge of it. And as we move further down the road, you'll start to see some of the same streets that we went on. And again, here's more debris beginning to come up to the yards. And so I wanted everybody to kind of have an opportunity to see. In fact, I'm going to check, Brandon, to see. I think the audio on that is not playing. That's good. We have a little bit of wind noise.
Oh, you did not stop at the stop sign that time.
I roll. It's a slight roll.
I know.
I was actually watching the guy on the corner. So now you begin to see the blue tarps that are coming out. You start seeing debris that's from inside the homes being put out on the street. Those homes had severe damage and the water infiltrated in, so a lot of things couldn't be spared. And you can see that it's just start to progressively get worse, and more debris and more stuff on the side of the road. And again, now you can begin to see the tree line has changed. We have some beautiful trees out there now, and the dogwoods are blooming. But this is clearly a different community as far as the trees and tree lines and all that we've had that I grew up with. So I've been here since 1978. So in my lifetime, we've never experienced this kind of storm coming through Jacksonville. And I heard that there was something not this bad in about 1958. So it's never been hit by a storm like this. It's just been in our lifetimes, it has not. So I guess, can you be kind of complacent? Yeah. Because everybody believes that the mountains would keep it from being, coming in, or it would go north to Piedmont or south towards Anniston. But as you can see now, there is more devastation, more houses down, the trees are cut off at the top, and you're beginning to see more and more of the destruction back in the area that we first traveled in that you saw a few minutes ago. So here's let's see the big tree trunks down in the yards. Now we've turned up and we're headed back towards North Jacksonville, and
tree roots.
Right. So they've been pulled up. They've brought bobcats in, but those are all rooted from the ground. There's somebody's mattress, and you start to see again the more blue. One house really not even hit, but if you look off in the distance, you can see
the tarps and stuff.
Yeah, and there used to be that was just all tall pine trees, and you couldn't see beyond the roof of the house that you were looking at. Mm-hmm. And that's all gone. You can see Chimney Peak in the background for those of you who are out of town. That's where the fire tower's at. And it went just to the right of the fire tower, and there's a big house on the hill up there is where it went over. But you'll see houses that are virtually unlivable now, mm-hmm. and a lot of people have been displaced and are living in different homes throughout the community. And some of these people, I know, I've known them for years. And they have uninhabitable is a poster that's put on there where they've come in and checked the house, and it's just not, you can't live there now because of the structural damage that was done.
It's just sad. Like, you think about like the church that was completely destroyed, and they said it's been there since like the 1800s, and it's like all that history.
Yeah.
It's just kind of gone.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So,
and then it's kind of like, do you rebuild in the same place, or do you just move on?
Well, most people will rebuild right where they're at, and the insurance will cover that. But you know, the question is, what if you didn't have insurance? What if you know had your home paid for and you didn't have enough insurance? You know, where's FEMA going to come in? Are they going to be able to help with some of this? What are the other state declarations that may help? You know, so there's only so much that you can do in removing the debris and getting down to where the families can take care of their situation with insurance or FEMA, whatever. You know, that's the state that the community is still in right now. But I still have to say Jacksonville, Alabama did a great job from a governmental standpoint at getting power lines back up, utilities working. Our power was out that night. We were back home by 8 o'clock the next morning, and we were on Mountain Avenue. And that was within 2 houses of where the path came through. So amazing that we had power the next morning. We're very blessed. Some people may still not have power, but it's being worked. Again, you can look, that whole area there, but just past that is towards the university. What's to your right is the Stone Performing Arts Center. To the left would be the area where the ROTC building is at.
Okay.
So this is where it came over Merrill Building and into the community. Remember the big trees that were there? So now we're looking back towards Chimney Peak, and the university is off to our left, and this is still North Jacksonville. What we're going to do here in just a second is go through the parking lot at Stone Center, and we'll see the back of Merrill. What I didn't see when I first went through was the damage to the Stone Center is pretty significant even. There's siding damage, there's roof damage. If you look at the metal siding below the windows, there's perforated holes in there where if you'd been out in this storm, I'm not sure you'd survived it because of just the small debris that was going through the sheet metal on the Stone Center. So you know, while it looks like it's intact, you can see that there's pieces of it missing here. But look underneath the windows there if you can see it. There's holes in the perforated metal there. And that's what you would be in had you been out in that storm. As we go down a little further, we'll come around and you'll see the Merrill Building, which was one of the hardest hit buildings on campus. Yeah. Of course, right there's the parking lot of Merrill and Stone Center, and there it is, the Merrill Building, off in the distance there. But what you'll notice here is, remember all the trees that were along this? They're gone. Wow. They've had to cut them all out. And so to clear that parking lot, see how the railing has been just destroyed going up the steps. And imagine if students had been here that week.
Right, because that's where I used to hide my car. You know,
really?
So I wouldn't get a ticket, but I still got a ticket one day over there. But yeah, you know, anyway.
Some things you may not want to tell on live TV.
Well, it's too late now. You can't do anything about it now.
Yeah, but you see students are back. There are cars on campus, and the students are back in the Performing Arts Center. There's some having class at Kitty Stone Elementary School, the old building. They've built a new one here. And again, we're going to make a trip down Church Street and go back towards the university on Highway on Pelham. So Performing Arts Center did hold up well, but it was just off the center of the tornado. And as we make this trip around, you'll see the damage that was done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back to us, and we're going to slide forward a little bit in the video. All right, and then we're going to come, I want to go back just a little bit more. And we're going to show the front of the Merrill Building is where we're going to bring it back. So now we're back at the Merrill Building. You see the front of it, and the glass was blown out. All the windows on either of the wings seemed to be blown out. The roof was taken off.
That's what I was about to say. Is the roof gone?
The top of the big dome on the top was damaged severely, and big chunks of third floor roof were pulled off. So, wow. And again, if you're looking online, you can see the surveillance cameras of the night, and it's amazing. Brewer Hall sustained significant damage. And we'll let the university tell you more about what to do if you're in any of those buildings. But hopefully everybody's reported to their instructors, their teachers, and their directors of the departments. The BCM has significant damage. And there you can see the library off in the distance. Excuse me. I didn't realize how much damage was done to Martin, but you see all the white. There's significant roof damage there. They put the tarp down. It's a white tarp to keep it from leaking at the rest of the weather. And then, of course, we're coming down on the library, of which they had people out picking debris up last week in front of it, and they've also had to put, the scaffolding out front again. And you see where they've walled off with the stuff. So, but if you notice on the university, all the large trees right there in the front towards were gone, and I didn't get to get a long picture of that, but we'll see it when we come back around. And there's the science building, and not as much damage there, but you see back down the road there was the International House. It had significant damage. Here we are at the science building that is in pretty good shape. And you'll look through the corner here and you'll be able to see Patterson Hall, which had its roof taken off. And there were students trying to get into that building as the tornado was coming through. And again, there's been footage that's been released on that, which was under surveillance camera. So the dormitory here at Sparkman seems to be in pretty good shape. But then as we move towards the music building, it's had significant damage as well.
I think that the area of it seemed to be more along the highway.
It was slightly to the north of the campus, but you can see the clinic had some roof damage. They had a daycare in this next building here that had significant damage to the facilities back there. And now we're back at the music hall, and they have some roof damage and that kind of thing. But what I wanted to show was there are students on campus. They're walking around. There are cars here now again, and I'm going to take it back again to us, and we'll zip down towards a little bit closer towards the end of this. I want to show as we come around to the front of Bibb Graves and go down towards the library, and then we'll end this there. And thank you, Brandon, for running the iPad because I was cutting my own audio off. But you can see the library in the distance. The roof has got significant damage there. This part of the campus was in pretty good shape. But as we round the corner, you notice all those big trees are just not there that were covering Bibb Graves. So we lost a bunch of big trees right up front. And for those of you who went to school here when I did, those are great places to hang out in the summertime under the shade and all that. Yeah. But it seems a lot more wide open.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed when I got back. I went to the TMB and I was like, something is missing. Now it's all the trees, just all of them. Because things look closer than where they actually are to us.
Right.
So I would be like, oh, the library's too far to walk, but it's right there. It's right there.
So the library took a big hit. I do not know the issue on the damage to it, so I won't even speculate on it tonight. But the roof was clearly had a lot of damage, and there was at least books that were moved around on the first floor because that's in the surveillance camera. So in that, that's where we're at right now. So when we do our documentary, there's some additional footage that you can pull in. That's at least 2 weeks from the tornado, maybe 3, and then a little bit from that night. But and we'll ask other people to contribute footage as well. But the goal is to find students that can tell their story, and we'll find a place to interview them, whether it's outdoors like you may have suggested in front of the TMB or a place in here. And then we'll get others to comment, and we'll do a nice documentary on where Jacksonville is and how the university and the community have pulled together to go through this tragic event.
I think that's a good idea.
All right.
Sounds doable.
So I've had a great show tonight, and just for all of you out there at Alabama Film Community TV, thank you for joining us. And Kayla's going to get her first little test at directing and producing a documentary, and I hope that we can show it here, but also hope that we'll have a couple of outlets around the state and others that may show this documentary that you're going to be producing. Yeah, so click. Yeah. There it is. Right. So thank you for joining us tonight. We'll have episode 9 next week. And actually, we may take next week off because I've got to go out of town on Wednesday morning. I'm doing the honor flight. So we have veterans from Vietnam, from World War II, Korea, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, that are all going to be getting on an airline early next Wednesday morning. It's about 2:45 in the morning. So I think it may be that we take next Tuesday night off, and I'm going to go videotape the men and women who've served our country as they get to tour the memorials and see some of the names of people that they recognize from different places that they fought across the world and globe, and honor those men from World War II to Vietnam. And so it's an honor flight that's coming out of Jacksonville, and we'll leave Birmingham on the 18th next week. So that's another documentary that we're putting together that they'll get as part of their trip that they get to take.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Real nice.
anyway, that's going to do it for tonight. I'm Alan Rhodes, and you are?
Kayla Corinne Thompson.
And look for Kayla to do some great things. If you're looking for somebody to do news, Kayla will be ready soon as she graduates in May.
May 4th, yes. I just
May
need to
4th.
find a place to live, and then I'm on there. I'm good. We're good after that.
She'll be real good for you, and I'm sure that we look for you to do great things for us. So good night from Alabama Film Community TV.